Hey guys, welcome to MeetEdgar office hours. Really excited that we're getting Monday kicked off to make sure we're setting your Edgar account up for success. We did have about 9 people register for today's session, and it looks like there's a couple of you here already. So we'll wait maybe one more minute to see if other people are going to jump in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But I'd love to know who's here already. There is a chat box over on the right of your screen. If you can just go ahead and pop on in there and let me know who's here, make sure I can hear you okay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. My name is Megan. I actually live in Denver, Colorado, and I'll be taking you through the demo and stuff today. Samantha from Toronto, hey, what's up? Our HR manager, Tyra, lives in Vancouver, so we got some Canadians in Edgar as well. Awesome. This is Maura. Yeah, she's going to be watching the chat today. So how this is kind of going to run is that I'm just going to go through a quick demo if you're new to Edgar, just to make sure that you have all of the access to get started, to get yourself to that win first and foremost, and make sure you're getting your first post sent out as quickly as possible to get the most bang for your buck and to make sure you're saving the most time on social media. But throughout this as well, make sure you pop into the chat over there because Maura will be watching it over there. So if you have any questions at all, she's actually the one who runs our Edgar account here at MeetEdgar and does our social media. So she has a wealth of knowledge that she'd be willing to share any strategies that she uses and get your questions answered. Once I go through the initial demo with you guys, what's going to happen is I'll pop back in, I'll take a look at the chat as well. So if you have more specific questions, we can kind of go over some advanced features and some flexibility in the setup, whether it's posting at a specific time, expiring content, all of that fun stuff to make sure that Edgar is working for your business. Cool, we've got a Winnipeg, Chris from Winnipeg, welcome. Adina from Virginia, awesome. Maura is actually in DC, so super close to you over there on the East Coast. Cool, so as we are getting started too, what I'm gonna do in the chat here, and definitely feel free to just save this link to open after the demo, but if you haven't downloaded it yet, we also have a getting started guide for Edgar. It's going to be in that link right there. So if you ever wanted to download the getting started guide, make sure to go ahead and do that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I won't be able to see the chat as we go through this, as I'm sharing my screen. But like I said, Maura is. So please keep your questions coming as we're going throughout this so we can make sure this is as valuable as possible for you. So the true power of Edgar comes into play when we can kind of set it and forget it for our evergreen content. So what does that mean? It means making sure that we're attaching our social media accounts, loading up our social media content, and setting a weekly repeating schedule so we can consistently show up for our followers and consistently connect them with that valuable information. So when you first log into an Edgar account, the very first thing you're going to do, and the thing that makes the most sense to do, is hook up your social accounts. So that's going to be under this accounts tab right here. When you come into Edgar, you're just going to click on the rectangle that you'd like to hook up. Super simple process. Edgar will snag the username and password from you for that profile, and it'll appear as one of these rectangles up here. You do have to have a Facebook profile that's connected to any groups and pages you're going to add. But you're not going to be able to post to that profile because it is against Facebook's terms of service to post to personal profiles. So that's why that one's a little bit grayed out. But you do need that connected to get your pages and groups there. Once you get all of the social media accounts that you would like to hook up in this accounts tab, I suggest popping over to this categories tab here. So the categories are going to make a little bit more sense when we go over the schedule, but essentially what the categories are for, they're just buckets of content that you want to send out to your followers. They're a great way to organize your library and make sure you get a diverse, robust posting schedule going out. Because when you think about it, your followers don't want to see a feed full of promotion after promotion or link after link. They want to have this diverse, robust posting schedule where they get to know the story behind your company, your values, where they get to really learn about what your product or service can do for their pain point that it's going to solve, as well as get that great educational and entertainment and really good sort of personal connection to build your know, like, and trust factor on social media. So the best way to identify what categories are going to work best for you is start to brainstorm what your audience persona, who you're talking to, is really going to connect with most. So you can see some of the categories that MeetEdgar uses here for our personal way that we're starting our schedule. When you log into an account, you'll have 6 predetermined categories just based on stuff we know works really well for connecting with your audience. But you can actually go ahead and rename these for something that matches your brand, your content pillars, your buckets of content that go out to your followers. You can do that by clicking on this pencil icon, or you can click to add a new category with this Add New Category button right up here. Once you get your category set, let's add your content to your library. So this Add New Content button right up here is going to be the manual way you're getting content into the library. So when you click to add new content, the first thing you're going to do is check off all of the accounts you'd like this piece of content to go out here, over here on the left. Next, you're going to select the category, so the type of post that this is. Then you're going to write your status update right here in this area. Let's go ahead and grab a link real quick so I can show you what it looks like if you're doing a post to like a landing page or a blog post, getting all that traffic to your site. You'll notice that you also get this gray box pop up here. This just lets you know a Facebook preview has been established, and if you wanted to know what it was going to look like once it's sent out to the network, pop on over to this preview tab right here, and you'll get to see that Facebook preview. Or if you wanted to know if Twitter cards are installed on a site, you can use this drop down to go ahead and select Twitter to see what it's going to look like on that network as well. If you're doing a post and you would prefer not a Facebook preview, but rather a static photo, you can go ahead and X out of this, and it'll give you the option to add a photo from your computer with this little photo icon in the lower left corner. Or we also have our image selectors. So these selected images are being pulled from that blog post. And if you just click on one of them to add it, it'll add it as a static image for you. Guys, this feature is golden for especially sharing out Instagram blog posts, since you do need to have a photo attached to any post going to Instagram. So this is a great way to get those manually added and speed things up that way. You can also add video to a post. So if you're clicking to add new content here, and we all know video is key on social media, it's what those algorithms are loving the most these days. You'll notice in the lower left corner, you have this little video icon that you can click here. This has all of the information to let you know the sizes per network that they allow to send through. You can just click on that and upload a video to connect with your followers. Once you are happy with how this post looks and you've written your update in this section here, you are going to click the Save to Library button in the lower right corner. So your library is going to be in this upper navigation bar to the left, and it's essentially a catalog of all of your posts. So everything you add to Edgar is going to remain in this library. It's an awesome way to keep a record of all of your posts, all of the hard work you're putting into these status updates. If you ever wanted to edit a post, you can do so in the library. You can delete a post in the library. You can sort the library by filters over here on the left, or by this search bar up top. There are a couple of other ways you can get content into the library, and that's going to be in this Import tab. So importing content into the library allows you to do things like upload a spreadsheet over here on the right. If you are uploading a spreadsheet, if you click this hyperlink right here, it'll take you right to our help center where there's an example spreadsheet for you to take a peek at. But essentially, the things to remember with this is the first column is just going to be the status update, so what you want the post to say. The second column is going to be the category you'd like it to go into. Upon uploading it, Edgar will prompt you for those account connections. This RSS feed reader right here, this will allow you to connect to any blog post. So you guys, if you have a blog, definitely make use of this feature. But if you like to share other people's blog content as well, it's a great way to curate content and almost use it like as your own feedly or as your own source to keep an eye on the content that they are producing. So how this works is you're just going to locate the URL of the blog. So right here, you'll notice I have this meetedgar.com/blog. So this is if I wanted to share all of the MeetEdgar posts. I just put our URL in there. I click on Find RSS Feed. This will take me to a page where Edgar says, great, there's an RSS feed connected here. What category would you like these posts to be brought into? What accounts do they have permission to go out to? So similar to when you're adding content manually. And then you have the option to either send this directly to your library, or you can send this to a pending content queue. So what happens when I click Add Feed right here is Edgar is going to pull in the past posts that are connected to this feed. Typically for most blogs, it's between 10 and 25. Or if you send it to a pending content queue, it'll do that and it'll allow for an approval process. So once Edgar pulls in the past posts, he checks these feeds. You can see all the feeds we've added for our curated content here. He checks these every 24 hours to see if a new post has been released in that time frame. And if it has, he'll automatically bring it over either to your pending content queue or directly to your library based on how you set it up. So in the library here, the pending content queue is going to be the second tab after your content one. So if I go to the pending content queue, you can see this allows me to approve, reject, or edit a post. So if I approve a post, it goes into my library and it'll go out based on the schedule you set, which we'll look at in a minute. If I reject a piece of content, Edgar won't share it. So great if you decide, you know what, this isn't content that I necessarily want to share out. If you edit a post, you can add in your own commentary, share your thoughts and opinions, put your personality in there behind it first, and then you can approve it into the library. So you can see what the RSS feed brings over automatically is the title and URL of your blog post. One other way to add content to the library before we go into how you schedule it is going to be with our extension. So this is our blog post right here, but this could be your blog post. This could be you out online just finding an awesome blog post you want to share with your followers. You'll notice in my bar up here, my browser bar, I have the little MeetEdgar icon. If I click on this, it'll take me to the Add New Content section right on this screen. So what I can do here is check off the accounts that I'd like this to go out to over here on the left, put it in that category, go ahead and make any updates right here, and I can save this right to my library. So super quick that way. If you are saving this for Facebook as well, just make sure if you want something rather than the Facebook preview to share, you do populate this Facebook text box. Essentially, the reason for this is Facebook prohibits automated content, and this is our workaround for it because we're saying you are doing the work, you're putting in the text right there. This is a great feature as well. I always like to say to use our send now and save feature. So if this is an article that might be really timely in the news that's going on right now, but you only want to send it once to all of your accounts, but not have to log into all your accounts at once, you can come here and next to the Save to Library button, you can actually click the Send Now and Save button. And that's accessed through this arrow drop-down menu here. So if I click Send Now and Save, what's going to happen is Edgar's going to take this content and he's going to add it to your queue, and he'll send it a minute later after you click this to whatever accounts you've attached over here. If this is a piece of content that you'd like to keep in your evergreen rotation, which we'll look at in a minute, that's all you need to do, and it'll go into the rotation based on your schedule. If this is a news article you just want to blast out to all your social media networks to give them that value and information right away, but you don't want it to go out again, what you're going to do is use this advanced settings drop-down menu, mark it as a use once post, click Send Now and Save, and Edgar will send it out to all your social networks, and then he'll retire it not to send it again. So a great way to get really timely news out, but not have to log into all your accounts. So guys, once you have all of that content in the library, Edgar is not going to send anything out until we tell him when. So there's two main ways of scheduling content in Edgar. The first way that is the most powerful is under this Schedule tab. So the Schedule tab here is going to be for your evergreen content. That's stuff that makes sense to send out no matter what time of year it is, because it's going to be valuable. It's going to get your audience and the right people who need your product or service to be interested in and learn from you more. So what you're going to do for the schedule here is locate when you want to send a post out. So say I want to send a post out at 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning because my audience gets up super early. I'm going to click into that area, and Edgar will ask me for the details here where I can just check off the accounts that I'd like this time slot to send to. You can always alter the day and time with these drop-down menus up here. And then this section here is for selecting a category. So the type of post it is, you're going to go ahead and click on this category, click Save, and you can now see this as a time slot. So how these time slots actually work is what we call a last in, first out rotation. So Edgar's going to be going along here. He's going to hit this time slot on your schedule. The most recent post you added to that category will be the first post Edgar sends out to the networks attached. He'll then put it to the end of the line in the category and move along. Next time he hits that category, he'll send the next update out, put it to the end of the line and move along. And he's going to work his way through all of the posts in this category in your library. Once he reaches the bottom and there's no new fresh content in that category, that's when he's going to start from the top again, resurfacing your older posts for new followers to see, as well as those who didn't get the opportunity to see or engage with it the first time it was posted. So let's go over some easy math as you're getting used to this concept to know how often things are going to repeat when you use your weekly repeating schedule. It is all based on the ratio of how many posts you place in a category in your library versus how many times it's on the schedule here. So if you have 10 posts in a category in your library and you place it on your schedule once, you'll know it'll take 10 weeks to recycle through that content. If you place it on the schedule twice, you know it'll be 5 weeks before you recycle through content. If you're continuously adding new content to post, it'll always favor that new fresh content before he starts recycling through the older content. So how do you know which content is sending out? That's going to be from this Q tab that's sandwiched between the library and schedule here. The Q tab will give you the date and it'll show you each post that Edgar is sending out. You can sort the queue by category or by network if you wanted to see, or by account, what you have going out to a specific account. You can always pause the queue with this button right up here. That'll stop all automation. You can click this fast forward button. That'll skip a post, which will put it to the end of the line in the rotation and pull in the next one. So the queue is a great place to pop into as you're getting set up to make sure that everything's looking just how you want. Now, I did say there were 2 ways of scheduling content in Edgar. So the second way is for your more time-specific posts. So things like holidays, one-day promotions, things you need to go out on a specific day. What you're going to do for this is when you're clicking to add new content or editing a piece of content in your library, go ahead and check off the accounts you'd like it to go out to over here on the left. Go ahead and select the category, so the type of post that it is here. Go ahead and use this advanced settings drop-down menu right here. So this advanced settings drop-down menu has the option for use once. So if this is a holiday post, go ahead and mark it as use once. Then when you're going to click the Save to Library button again, you have the drop-down arrow. And the second option here is to schedule, send, and save. So if I populate schedule, send, and save here, Edgar's gonna go ahead and hold this post out of your rotation until this day and time is reached, at which point he'll send it out to the networks that you have attached here. If use once is checked off, he'll use it once and then he'll retire it. So again, awesome for posts like holiday posts, one-day promotions, stuff you just wanna go out once and then retire. If use once is not checked off here, once Edgar sends it on this day and time that you populate in the schedule, send, and save, he's going to put it to the end of the line in the category you've assigned it to, and it'll go back into the rotation based on your schedule. So I always suggest when you're making categories, if you have a lot of holiday posts, you can create a holiday category in there just to keep things really organized in your library as well. And it's almost like a second safeguard to make sure those posts don't go out more than once. Because if you think about it, if you're creating a category and it's not anywhere on your schedule, those posts can also live in your library, but not send out because it's not going to be populated on your schedule here. That's also a really great trick for things like seasonal content. So you can come into your categories tab here, and you can click to add a new category and name it like summertime blog posts. You can spend the winter and spring and fall months loading that category up in your library, but just keep it off of your schedule. If you are doing day-specific categories, so things like Monday motivation or Throwback Thursday, or holiday-specific like summer blog posts, when you create those types of categories, make sure you go ahead and uncheck this include when selecting random content to post. Go ahead and click save. And then once that season rolls around, or if it's like a Monday motivation category to get your content started out right for the week, just put that category on Monday, or just select that category on the schedule when that season rolls around. And those posts from those categories will only go out on those days and times. So those are the 3 main flexible ways of scheduling content in Edgar. So there's 2 other things I want to go over real quick before I pop back into the chat, and that is Twitter and Instagram posting in Edgar. So Twitter does have a term of service that says you can't send the same tweet to the same Twitter account more than once anymore. So for this reason, we have everything set up in Edgar to keep you in compliance with that terms of service. So every time that you add a tweet to Edgar, we suggest using our variations feature, because this will allow for you to still reshare your evergreen content, that great write once, promote twice concept, but it will allow you to stay in line with those terms of service. So let's take an example here of our blog post that we've been using. If I wanted to share this blog post out to Twitter more than once, you'll notice I have this manually add variation option and this auto-generate variation option. When I click to manually add a variation, a second text box is going to pop up where I can go in and I can actually go ahead and write a different status update for this. So I can use a different headline that I generated. I can go ahead and ask a different question or give a different thought leadership about this concept here. You can do as many variations manually as you want here, and this will allow, again, for this piece of content, when it comes up in the rotation of your posts, it'll share the last variation you added, then that variation will expire for Twitter. The next time this comes up in your rotation, the next variation will share, it'll expire for Twitter, and it'll go on and on like that. So variations aren't going to post back to back unless it's the only piece of content in your category. It'll still follow that last in, first out rotation that way. This feature is going to be available for your other networks as well. You can use it for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn as well, but it was specifically built for Twitter, and Twitter's the only one that will expire variations. The other networks will continue to rotate through them. The coolest part of the variations feature, I think, is this auto-generate variations. When I click to auto-generate variations, Edgar's going to go ahead and populate 5 different variations from pull quotes from within that blog post. So it's an awesome way to get a bunch of them in there. It's an awesome way to give value to your followers, even if they don't have time to click through on that link and read your whole blog post. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. A workflow I always recommend is when you come to your library here, make sure that you're taking advantage of these filters over here on the left to know when you need more variations on your tweets. What you can do is you can select the social network as Twitter, and then this last has publishable variations. Go ahead and select it as no. And this will populate all of your posts in your library that are completely expired for Twitter. If you wanted to reuse these, pop on in, click edit, and add some variations in there. All right, Instagram posting. So we do Instagram posting through push notifications. So what's going to happen is you add your content for Instagram in the exact same way. A lot of people like to create Instagram-specific categories just because the language for how you introduce blog posts like link in bio and stuff like that is a little bit different. So you can do that, or again, we always recommend cross-promoting your content on each network to amplify it and make sure you're getting the most out of your message. But for Instagram content, you're checking off Instagram, you're scheduling it the same way on your schedule here. Make sure the time slots here are connected to Instagram as well. So if this was a time slot I wanted to go to Instagram, make sure I'm connecting it there as well. What's going to happen with Instagram posts is you are going to go ahead and get a push notification on your phone. So you'll download the MeetEdgar app. A push notification will come to your phone letting you know, hey, you got an Edgar post ready to go out. Once that push notification comes, all you need to do is tap to open it up. Once you do that, the text of your status update is automatically going to be copied to your phone's clipboard. The photo or video will automatically be copied to your camera roll. When you enter Instagram, you can choose to post it to your feed or to your stories. You can go ahead and filter the photo, tap in the text box to paste the text that was copied automatically, and post it out that way. So guys, this is an awesome way to make sure that you're also reminding yourself to go in and engage with your Instagram community. So as you're in there posting things that Edgar has sent you a notification for, make it a goal for yourself to take 3 to 5 minutes to stay in Instagram, use the Explore feature for common hashtags that you know your community hangs out in. Go and actually comment on, like, and engage with these people to let them know you exist, to add value. So it's really enticing for them to go in and follow your page, because what the algorithms are looking for really is that meaningful connection to make sure that you are someone who is adding value to the platform. So it's a great way to make sure you're scheduling time in for that engagement stuff as well. The history tab over here in Edgar will always show you a list of everything that Edgar has sent out. My favorite feature of the history tab is going to be this all-time clicks filter right up here. So all-time clicks can actually be sorted. So you saw I just clicked on this title that says all-time clicks. This is going to rank my links from the ones that have been clicked on the most down to the least. So an awesome way to go ahead and get in there and know the language that people are really resonating with, the times of day that people are clicking the most, and start to hone in to notice these patterns and really start to get an idea of when and what your community likes to see. You can even dial in further by clicking on this View Performance History button under the content section here. This will take you to an area where you can start to see when those clicks occurred. So you can see this graph is letting me know the date, when the clicks occurred here. And Edgar even goes ahead and ranks which variation of this post got the most clicks versus the least clicks. So a great way for you to be able to go on in there and see, okay, which variation was sent at what time, what language did I use, to really find the bright spots and create content that your community wants to see. All right, the last thing in the history tab that can be helpful is for that engagement batching, and that's going to be this little arrow next to the date stamp. If I click on that arrow, it'll take me right to the post on the social media network where I'm able to go in and see if I have any comments, shares, anything like that that I need to respond to. So that's kind of a quick run through of setting up Edgar. Again, getting yourself to your first quick win is going to be adding your social media accounts, setting up your preferred categories, adding, let's say, 5 to 10 posts to get started in each category. Don't overwhelm yourself. Get those 5 to 10 posts in each category. You, I know, have the time to do that this week. Set your weekly repeating schedule. Again, if you add 10 posts to each of your categories and you place that category on your schedule twice, you have a month's worth of fresh content that Edgar is sending out for you. So you then have the time to go out and create more content and go out and engage with your community. And then you can slowly start adding more content to your library throughout the next few weeks, throughout the next few months, to build up that really great source of valuable adding content to your followers. So I'm going to pop right back into the chat now to go ahead and see if we have any questions that Maura hasn't got to yet that I can go ahead and look at. So Instagram for Android. So guys, Instagram for Android is something on our roadmap. We are building it. We don't have a date yet, but we will definitely announce it out. We'll obviously send emails to you. This is our updates blog right here as well. So this updates blog right here will always let you know the different features that we do announce there. Guys, for Instagram specifically, I'm not sure if Kristen is. Kristen, you are here. Great. I know you particularly asked about Instagram in the pre-submission form. So I also wanted to go ahead and drop in these links for Instagram. So that first Google Drive link is to our Instagram Success Bundle, which is awesome for helping Instagram planning. That second one is a blog post that kind of walks through the outline of how you post your Instagram stories. And stories are kind of a big deal when it comes to Instagram these days and engagement. That third link is going to be our link to our help center. If you don't have the iOS app yet, go ahead and go to this third link, this help.meetedgar.com. And that's where you can download our iOS app for that. So those are really great. And guys, in your account, actually, if you ever have a question or you ever lose these links or anything like that, if you actually go to this little drop-down menu under your name here, this is our help center. And if you type in Instagram here, that'll also go ahead and get you the Instagram download. That extension that I showed in the demo too, this will allow you to get the extension from our help center too. So if you wanted to do that add right from your browser thing, this link right here is going to go ahead and give you that. But yeah, for Instagram specifically, just make sure that you are adding your content on the computer, but you're actually posting it from your phone or from your iPad. And I promise we love our Android community too, and we are working hard to make sure we can gain access to that API to make sure that we can actually support you guys as well. And we super appreciate your patience there. Let's see what other questions we have. Will this ever, okay, so Chris, for automatic posting, you do have to apply to be a partner with Instagram in order to get access to their API. They are a little bit cagey about it. So we do have our application in, but unfortunately, we're not sure when they're going to be allowing apps to get direct access to it. So for now, we do have to do it with push notifications. Hopefully, they will eventually go ahead and give us that access. But since it is on their terms, we unfortunately don't have a date for that. Yep, so totally get that for kind of automated posting for holidays and stuff, but hopefully these push notifications will allow you to get some of that engagement in and to kind of hang out in those hashtags to actually get people to know you. And if you've never tried this strategy before of searching a hashtag that you know your audience really hangs out in and going in and spending maybe 5 minutes of double tapping a few pictures, liking it, maybe commenting on 2 or 3 with your thoughts or opinions on it, it's a really easy thing to do. And it typically results, if you do this for like if you do this for like a few minutes, it'll typically result in like your follower account really getting a noticeable bump up. So I would suggest really trying it that way as well. Kristen, engagement features. So the best engagement features in MeetEdgar are going to be in your history tab. So you always kind of want to think about that. Why am I sending this message out to my followers? What is my one call to action that I want them to take? Is it to get to know me as a person? Is it to get to know me as a brand? Is it to get to drive traffic to my site or to get my promotion? So have that one call to action in mind and make sure when you're going in and you're adding that status update to MeetEdgar that you actually have that in a place where you can go back into your history tab, click on that little arrow that I showed you before so that you're going out there and seeing who's liking it, seeing who you're engaging with, because what's really going on these days is everyone wants the attention of their followers. Everyone wants that really great attention there. And you need to set yourself apart because every industry is pretty saturated. So the more that you can make your status updates really personality filled with yourself, the more likely you're going to stand out in your industry. So that's what's really going to get you engagement on social media is that uniqueness that you can bring to the conversation that's going on in your niche. And if you can really hone down on who you're talking to, have that one person in mind who you're talking to, and really make sure that every status update is filtered through that lens of who your audience persona is, you'll start to see your engagement rates really go up quite a bit. Because guys, when you think about it, if you're telling a story to like your boss and your best friend, you're going to say things differently. You're going to create a different vibe for both of them. And that's what you have to think about your content too. Are you saying things in a tone and in the way that your specific community is going to engage with? This is a great way for you to be able to know, like, and to get that know, like, and trust factor up so much with your community. So think about your content language, go into your history tab and start looking at those things like which variation is doing the best, which are getting the most clicks. Of course, your more kind of vanity metrics of likes and stuff like that are fun to see, but the true power of social media is driving people to your site, getting people to sign up for your newsletter, all of that fun stuff. So that's kind of why Edgar tracks clicks much more than we track likes, because we truly believe that getting people to your site and getting people to a space that you own, like you own your newsletter list, you own your site and your blog, rather than depending upon the social media networks and what they're doing with their algorithms and changes, is far more important. So I always suggest looking at those click-through rates is going to be the best way to kind of get to know what's working well. Kristen, someone responded to something, so we can respond without having to dig around for a specific post. So we don't have any sort of social listening features in the sense that you can respond right in MeetEdgar. So again, the best way is just going to be to come to your history tab right here. Take 5 minutes at the end of your day. So every day at the end of your day, take 5 minutes to batch out your engagement time by clicking on these arrows, going to the social network, seeing if anyone responded. And if you think about it, if you send out like 5 posts a day, all you're doing is coming in here and clicking on this 5 times, make sure that there's nothing important to respond to. And I always suggest doing it at the end of the day too, because our brains are a little bit dead and we're probably craving a little bit of that social media time anyway. So use that social media time that you're already going to be spending there to really connect with your followers rather than just wasting it mindlessly scrolling through your feed. And also, as you come in here, you can start to really hone in on the times of day you're seeing people comment more so that you can inform your schedule to post when your followers are online rather than when you're online most conveniently. So that's going to be the best way to get your comments and stuff answered through MeetEdgar. It's just using this arrow in the history tab here. Another thing that's really great for kind of analytics and stuff that we didn't look at is going to be in this drop-down menu here in the settings tab. Edgar also has UTM parameters where you can start to see like the traffic that's driven if you use Google Analytics at all. So these UTM parameters can be turned on or off here. And it's great if you don't have Google Analytics installed on your site. I definitely recommend installing it now so you can start to collect that data. But this is a great way also to see the effectiveness of your posts, is to use these UTM parameters to really see where the traffic that you're sending out is coming from. All right, let's pop back in. Cool, so that is kind of the quick run through, and we didn't have any other pre-submitted questions, but I'd love to hear from you guys kind of what other questions you have as we're ending up this demo here. I'll definitely stay on here a little bit more, so pop into the chat, let me know if you are looking for anything specific, all of that fun stuff there, and I would love to get those answered. Oh, Adina, you did submit a question. It looks like maybe it didn't come through. Can you go ahead and let me know what that was? Sorry about that. Let's see. If you're not sure what it was, I can go back and look. But if you don't mind, Pinterest, yes, Kristen, Pinterest is coming to Edgar. We are working on it now. It'll probably be a couple of months still, but that is definitely on our roadmap, and it is going to be super exciting. When we know a better date, we'll definitely get that out to you guys. Or that updates blog link that I popped in there as well. That'll go ahead and let you know when it's going to come out. We do keep in touch with you via email, so I would definitely make sure you're checking your email for that, but we're really excited to get Pinterest out as well. Adina, are you sure, if you're still here, do you know what your question was by chance? I'll also go ahead and direct you guys, if you haven't yet, this link here before we kind of end up today, this will always give you access to schedule any office hours with us. We do these every day, so if you ever have questions you wanted to pop into at all and get them answered, submit your question there. We'll get it answered live for you guys here. If you guys do have any feedback for how these are run as well, I would love to hear it. So this form that I'm going to pop right into this section here, this will go ahead and give you a form where you can let us know kind of what kind of format changes you would like to see made, how this went, what features you like, stuff like that in Edgar, so we can make sure that as we're doing these, they are the most valuable for you. But like I said, Edgar truly is a flexible platform and a pretty powerful one if you're spending the time to add your content to your library, to set up your social media posting schedules that way. And if you go in and you at any time have any questions, in the lower right-hand corner of your account, there's a little chat symbol down there, and you can always chat us to go ahead and get those answered as well. Adina, thanks so much. It's more specific about your podcast. Is there a way you can help with copy? I would love some help with the best way to engage with my audience and help increase buzz for the pod. Awesome. So this is something that we actually have a blog post on. Let me go ahead and grab that for you for podcast specifics. But essentially, it goes back to knowing your audience and making sure you're connecting right with them. So this know, like, and trust factor that's so important on social media really comes into play with stuff like this question, because people have so many choices when it comes to podcasts. But your message can stand out if you're delivering it in the way that your specific audience persona really resonates with. So what you can do is start to get an idea on your Facebook page and on your Twitter analytics, who your audience is and what they are like. Let me go ahead. I'm trying to do two things here. Let me go ahead and find this article real quick to drop in for you. How to promote your, here we go. Here you go. So this right here is going to be a gold mine for you specifically. But essentially what I was saying is you want to make sure that you're going into your Twitter analytics, your Facebook insights, and seeing who your audience is to start to craft the tone of what your language should be saying about your podcast. So things that work really well, especially to diversify your podcast content, is going to be doing things like going in and sharing like the behind the scenes of how you're making that podcast. So why is this really cool? It's because this type of content is really going to make your followers think they are getting something that other people out there are not getting. So that's important because it's that really big draw to say, okay, I want to keep following this page because I'm getting that awesome behind the scenes sort of thing, that I'm a part of this community that other people aren't getting it. And that's just kind of human nature, that they like to be curious about what's going on. So I would suggest sharing things about your podcast, like how you made it, the behind the scenes, share your origin origin story of how you thought about the idea, why your episodes are created in the way that they are. And this gives your podcast a little bit more personality versus how you're actually going to, versus how just the raw content of it. And that's going to really get people to be enticed to read it more. This blog post here is also going to be really great for some social media tips. Oops, that was the same length. For some social media tips on how you can get your hosting done right there. For your podcast specifically, using variations is awesome. So when we looked at that variations feature in Edgar, I always suggest here in your variations feature that you think of different headlines that you might have used for that podcast to start to test what is going to resonate with your community as well. So you can add your podcast link right into this section here. Click to add a variation and introduce it differently. Ask your community a question about it. Ask your community what they thought about a specific part of it to really entice them to go and listen to your podcast. Tell your community how you made it. Tell your community your favorite part of it. And add in these different variations to start to really hone in on who your content is, when your content's going to hit it. Because when you think about it too, not everyone is going to have time to listen to it right when you send it out. Maybe they're in a hurry and they're just mindlessly scrolling through their feed. But maybe the next time this post comes up into your rotation, that time they're sitting down at home and they have time to listen to a podcast. So again, when these are being recycled through MeetEdgar, the power of evergreen content really comes into play when you're able to hit the person at the right time with the right message. So it's that beautiful combination of having the right message crafted and it appearing for the person when they're ready to buy or when they're ready to listen. Because not everyone is ready right away. Everyone's on their own buyer's journey or on their own listener's journey for you. So maybe one variation that you put in here will really resonate. The language will really hit someone and compel them to click through and listen to your podcast. Whereas other people may not necessarily resonate with that language, but the next time this post comes up, they're going to see it in a different light. Maybe something else happened in their life that is going to speak to them. So that timing of when your message hits people or what that message says can be so crucial for driving engagement and driving people to actually take that call to action. So for your podcast specifically, I definitely suggest getting pull quotes from within it to add as variations, asking your community questions, what they felt about it, and sharing your behind the scenes view of what that content was about. If you do have more specific questions, definitely email support@meetedgar.com and we can kind of keep that conversation going about that. Samantha, what is the best way to use a random category? Great question. So the random category is really great if you just want to make sure that a piece of content is going out regardless of the category. So guys, when you come to your schedule here and you make a status update, what Samantha's talking about is in this drop-down menu, you'll notice you have this random content right here. So if I make a random time slot, if I save this, you can see it says random. Edgar's going to pull a post from your library regardless of the category to share out to the networks that are attached here. What a lot of people use this for is just to make sure that they are populating a time slot. So if you think about consumption habits on social media, some people are going to wake up in the morning and consume content. Other people in between their meetings or on their lunch break are going to consume content, or other audiences are going to consume content when they get home at night after their work day. So having things like your random content, you can see here we have a row of random content at 8:50 a.m. can be really helpful in the fact that we're saying, you know what, I want to give this community some content, but I want to make sure that it's coming from a different category. So this one specifically for LinkedIn, we know that our audience is on LinkedIn during the work day. You know, when they get to work, they are marketers who use social media. So they come in here and they make these time slots here for random content. So they'll see something pop up on their social media, on their LinkedIn when they're checking it in the morning, but they'll get a variety of content from us. Again, getting to holistically know who we are as a brand. But at other times, we've really dialed in on the fact that, okay, it looks like our community reads a lot in the morning and reads a lot on their lunch break. So we want to make sure our blog posts are going out in the morning in their lunch break. But at other times of the day, they're just kind of more mindlessly scrolling. So we want to do things like photos and tips and videos at those other times when it looks like they're not engaging with our content. So you can use that random time slot again to just kind of make sure you're filling up those areas. but you're also giving people a holistic view of who you are, where you can identify your category-specific time slots when it makes sense to send out that one type of update. So again, if you identify link click-through rates are happening more in the morning or the evening, make sure you're putting your blog category there. If you want to start people off with that Motivational Monday to share an inspirational quote, make sure you're putting that content only on Mondays. Speaking to one of the favorite trends on social media, Throwback Thursday, make sure you put that Throwback Thursday category only on Thursdays. So it's a great way, again, to keep your time slots updated, to get that rotation in when you just want a post to go out, but you haven't identified any sort of post that works the best there. Another way that you can kind of get to know this information is using your Facebook Insights and your Twitter analytics, like I mentioned there as well. So I would go in there, see the types of content people like. If you've never used this before, let me show you real quick. This will be for MeetEdgar's Facebook Insights here, but you'll just go to your page. So I'm going to go to my page right here, the MeetEdgar page, and then I'm going to go up to this Insights tab at the top. This Insights tab will take me to where I can go ahead and use this navigation over on the left and click this Posts option. So I go to Insights and then I go to Posts over here on this left menu. And this will give me a graph for when my followers are online. So this is a fantastic place to kind of start originating where your schedule should be set up. So again, for MeetEdgar, our audience are marketers, so they're online during the day. So it makes sense we get a follower account spike during the work hours here, but maybe your audience is a little bit different and they're online more after work or before work. So you want to check that out. And then if you scroll down a little bit here, you can start to see like the reach and engagement of your posts. You can start to see what type of post is, if it was a photo or a link post. And again, to really start to inform which categories are doing best so you can create more content for those categories and make sure that the type of content that your audience likes to consume is the type that you are sharing most. For Twitter specifically, go ahead and pop into analytics.twitter.com. And this will take you to your demographics section where you can start to kind of hone in, Adina, especially to your question about podcasts, what you should create, stuff like that. If you go to this audience tab in analytics.twitter.com, and then you go to the demographics tab right here, this will start to let you know things like who your audience is, you know, what countries they're living in. If you click on over to this lifestyle tab, you can start to see like what they like. So you can see if they, for the MeetEdgar community, they like tech news and dogs and weather stuff the most, other pages they follow. So using this information to say, okay, let's share curated content from other tech blogs. That's something that's valuable to our community. They like dogs. So if we're doing memes or funny content to really get that brand kind of vibe that people want to hang out with our brand going on, maybe we could share a dog meme because we know our audience likes that kind of stuff. So there's so many tools out there that you can really help to inform your content creation. And then that can help you inform which status updates you're adding to your MeetEdgar library and when you're putting those on the posting schedule. Cool. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Kristen. Is there a way to so that you exhausted your audience with a post from say 1 to 2 years ago? I need to shut down posts as I feel like they have been overused perhaps. So for evergreen content specifically, we honestly don't really recommend taking it out. You know, you are always getting new followers. So you want to make sure your followers are seeing that past content, Adina. So we don't recommend taking that content out of there. And some research that we found is presented in this blog post here. It's titled 5 Big Brand Strategies for Recycling Social Media Updates. I'm going to pop it into the chat here. So this is going to be really awesome to start to see some of the actual data that other big brands have seen when they reshare their content. And this will kind of give you that really great confidence that, okay, this is a strategy a lot of brands are seeing success with. And again, the variations feature, though it was built for Twitter, can be really helpful in kind of calming down your nerves about resharing things too often. But when you also think about it, think about TV commercials. They share over and over again, and it's because they know that concept that the message is going to hit someone at the right time, and it's not necessarily going to be something that you're mad about seeing twice in a row. So if someone in your audience has seen your blog post twice, I know it can seem a little bit nervous to you because you know how it's been posted over and over again, but they probably A, aren't going to remember, or B, don't care. So here at Edgar, we do repost our blog posts, probably some of our strongest driving ones, once a month. And then we'll have a category that's a little bit more full of the rest of our blog posts that will cycle through on a slower process. But we want to get the value of those that we know people dwell on, that we know people click through on and want that information to recycle through so our new followers can see it. And if you use the variations to come across authentically, to change up the message, it's likely you'll hit someone who has a resonating problem or pain point, who's seeing it at that right time. So I would definitely not recommend, if it's evergreen, if it's truly evergreen and it doesn't have any sort of like date time stamp, it's still adding value, to keep it in your rotation. It's definitely a way to make sure that you're getting your all-important right once, promote twice out there, because as it comes down to it, it's all based on this idea that only about 10% of your followers ever see anything you post on social media. So you're putting all this hard work into your content. So amplifying it, cross-posting it to all your networks at once is such a powerful thing for you to be able to do. So I would definitely not suggest it. If you have questions specifically about that, let me know. If you are doing an audit on your content in MeetEdgar and you're afraid you want to take some of them out, we walk through our audit strategy of how we look at our links and make sure they're evergreen in this blog post here. But if it's truly evergreen, if it's truly going to add value to people, if it's a great how-to to use your product, that's gold on social media, keep rotating through that. Keep getting the great traffic. If it's a blog post that's really key, keep rotating through. This is truly something that we've tested. Laura, the founder of MeetEdgar, actually used to have an educational business that she went in and saw that she was spending way too much time posting on social media and not enough time creating content and working on her business. So that's how Edgar was actually born. And she's done a ton of testing on this, resharing, and she sees engagement on her tweets, on her Facebook posts, stuff like that, even if she's shared it over and over multiple times over the last 5 years, because guys, Edgar did just turn 5 last month. So super exciting to kind of see that. So I would suggest taking a look at that big brand strategy blog post there, as well as that how you audit content in Edgar. And if it's truly evergreen, my personal recommendation and Edgar's theory on it is to keep it in the rotation to make sure that message is hitting people when they need it, and hitting your new followers as well. One of the best examples to kind of get this concept, I think, is real estate. So real estate specifically, think about it. If you are a home buyer, you're probably not ready to buy right away, but you might be following some realtors, doing some research. So you're a cold lead. You're not going to be ready to buy right away. But if that Facebook page you're following of a realtor has been sending out super helpful information about the home buying process, about decorating your new home, about kind of the success he's had for past clients, testimonials, if he's been staying top of mind and actually building up those sort of brand awareness posts for you, when it comes time you need a house, he's going to be on the top of your mind as the realtor that you want. So that's kind of taking it into your industry, kind of doing things like that. The best way, I think, to conceptualize why resharing stuff and why getting a diverse kind of pillars of content out there is so important. Cool. So, Kristen, I'm so glad that was helpful. I'll also share one more help article from our help center here. And this is just how to find the best times to post for your social network. And this goes into a little bit more on that Facebook and Twitter insights and analytics that I was showing you there. So check out that article. It has some good scheduling options as well if you're interested in that. All right, guys, so we are coming up on our hour for office hours, but if you have another burning question you want to get answered, go ahead and pop it into the chat. I will stay around for about 5 more minutes if we need. Otherwise, like I said, we do these every day, so if something comes up, we will always start them out with a quick demo, but you can always pop into the chat and we'll get your specific questions answered as well. If you do have any feedback, remember, we'd love to hear it because this is a new thing that we're trying in the last month or so, but we have seen great success with it. So fill out that form if you have feedback on how you'd like these to be run in the future. And like I said, if you do have questions, support@meetedgar.com or that little chat icon in the lower right corner of your MeetEdgar account is a great place to pop into. Awesome. So it looks like maybe we've got people trickling out here. Go ahead and stay in touch. DM us on social media @MeetEdgar, or go ahead and email us if you want to keep the conversation going. All right, guys. See you later.